Yes, my people, welcome back to EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. I hope you're all doing well. Wow. Last night, it's almost been, 24 hours since Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley won out here at the O2. What a crazy fight. What a crazy fight that was, man. That was epic. That fight was epic. Listen, Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley put on potentially a fighter of the year, fight. Like that. That's a contender, right? Maybe some people might say Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn beats that, but that's going to give you a run for his money. Definitely. It's just a shame, yeah? It's a big shame that Howard Foster, once again, because it's not the first time he's done it in his career, decided to play God, man. Howard Foster decided to insert himself in that fight, and that's why a lot of the people are talking about the controversy, how that fight was stopped, and as the Americans say, that fight ended on a bummer. You know what I mean? It ended on a bummer because Howard Foster is just, for me personally, he's a referee that should not referee any other big fights in the UK or abroad ever again. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sure a lot of people will share, the same sentiment because the guy just has an itch. It's like he can't wait to stop a fight. I do not know what goes through that man's head. He's done it a few times. He done it against when George Groves fought against Carl Froch. George Grove knocked down Carl Froch. He was winning the fight on the scorecards. And he came under pressure from Carl Froch, a barrage of punches, but George Grove was still had his faculties working. He could still fight back. And Howard Foster, decided to stop the fight. He's got history, man. I'm sure there's other fights out there. I can't remember from the top of my head, but I'm sure there's other ones. If we really, dig deep, if I was to really dig deep and study the tapes, I'm sure I'm going to find other instances where Howard Foster has stepped in, stopped fights prematurely. I don't know why he keeps doing it. He keeps getting away with it, and he keeps being hired to officiate fights, especially big fights. I don't think that should happen again. He should not be given another opportunity, to officiate another big fight because, listen, these fighters put everything on the line. Someone like Joseph Parker, he's been a mandatory for the title for the last 2 years, right? He's been chasing Usyk for the longest, Fabio Wardley, props to him, he won last night, There was a lot on the line for both fighters. You can't stop the fight, not in that manner, I'm sorry. If you look at listen, when I done my post-fight reaction video last night, I said it, for me, it was the wrong call from the referee, and I still maintain that stance now. And I'm looking around social media. I've watched other experts, pundits speak on it, and a lot of them are in agreement. The majority of people are saying that was a premature stoppage from the referee. He did not have to stop the fight. He did not have to stop it, and I will maintain that. I will defend it until the cows come home, mate. If you look at the last few punches from Fabio Wardley, it wasn't even landing. The punches wasn't even landing. So why are you stopping the fight? Joseph Parker deserved to at least go on his shield, man. Go out on his shield, man. And I know Joseph Parker, Andy Lee, they're not really the type of characters that would disturb the peace. Do you know what I mean? They won't really go against the grain. They're very humble guys, respectful, they keep it all cool. They were congratulating Fabio Wardley on his win. And it's great. I like to see that in people. I like to see that in humans. It's fantastic. But sometimes I just feel like you just have to stand up for yourself. You just have to, where there's an injustice, you have to call it out, man. You have to call it out. I mean, I even watched Adeola Dipo. I watched his fight reaction. And he even spoke on the fact that he wanted to see Joseph Parker and Andy Lee stay in the ring. He wanted to ask them questions, how they felt about the stoppage. He wanted to press them so that they can at least demand a rematch or something. But to his surprise, they left. Joseph Parker walked out of the ring, Andy Lee, they left. So he couldn't ask them questions. And it's a real shame because if Joseph Parker stayed in the ring, yeah, with Andy Lee and proceeded to, you know, call out the stoppage and say, you know, it's a wrong stoppage, I feel like I deserve more time. You know, I still had my faculties working. The punches weren't landing. Like, if he really pressed his case, maybe there could be a rematch. Maybe. You know, but the fact that Joseph Park himself is like letting it slide, then it's going to be let slide, isn't it? It's going to be let slide. But it's just a shame because it was a fantastic fight, a great fight. But I feel like we come away from that fight thinking like, what if, you know? What if? Because Fabio Wardley did look gassed out. He was gassed, man. Even the punches he was throwing, he was gassed. Who knows? If Parker was allowed to continue, who knows? There was still about a minute left in that fight. Maybe Parker could have came back. Maybe he could have stopped Wardley. We'll never know now, would we? Because again, Howard Foster decided to insert himself, man. It's bullshit. I don't want to see that guy ever referee a big fight again in the UK or abroad. Let him take the small town hall fights, man. Let him do that. You know what I mean? You talk about protecting the fighters and fighters are in danger. Listen, this is boxing. These are big boys. They know what they sign up to. A fighter is not just in danger when they're hurt or, you know, when they're on the road. That's not they're in danger from round one, mate. By the time you take a jab, you know, you eat a right hand, even in round one, you're in danger. Your life is in danger from round 1 to round 12, mate. Until you leave that ring. Even after you leave the ring, you're going to go get medically checked. Your life is in danger as a fighter at all times, mate. Even in sparring, your life is in danger. So please spare me, because I can hear in some quarters, some fans, some people talking about, oh, the referee saved Parker's life. Mate, these guys are always in danger, man. They're always in danger. And I understand, listen, there's been situations in the past where things have happened, you know, fighters have passed away. And I understand. I really understand it. I'm not trying to dismiss that. But I'm just saying the punches from Wardley weren't landing like that. They weren't really connecting to Parker like that to do that damage. Yes, Parker was hurt, but I think Parker was more exhausted. He was more tired because of the weight that he was carrying. It's because of the weight that he was carrying, man. So now, can Parker still get a rematch? You know, can Parker demand a rematch against Fabio Wardley? I think he can. I think Parker has a case to demand a rematch. He has a case because, one, everyone is in a majority. I'm going 90% here. There's a 10% of people out there that said, yo, it's a legitimate stoppage from the referee. But I'm going 90% boxing fans are saying that it was a premature stoppage by the referee. So if that's the case, with Parker being a mandatory for so long, for 2 years, and the fighters that he's beaten, Bakoli, Gile Zhang, Wilder, and the risks that he took against Fabio Wardley, I feel like Joseph Parker has a case to demand a rematch, man. He has a case, man. The referee stopped it way too early. Now, will Parker and his team and Andy Lee and his management, will they push for a rematch aggressively in a manner that I would do it? I don't think they will do it that way. I think they're going to be a bit more diplomatic about it. And when you're going up against Uncle Frank, diplomacy might not always work for you, man. Do you know what I mean? Against Uncle Frank, man, trying to be diplomatic, it might not work for you, man. With Uncle Frank, you're better off just going head on against him, man. That might yield you a result rather than trying to be all kumbaya or cool with him, you know? Like, for me, Parker and his team, they really have to press for a rematch. We've seen in the past where fighters, you know, when fights end in controversy, you know, they demand a rematch and they get it, man. They get a rematch, man. If you make enough noise, trust me, if you disturb the peace, you can get the rematch. And also, there's a demand. There is a demand from the public because it's such a great fight and because of the manner in which the fight ended, yeah? I think the public still have an appetite for that fight. You know, now, am I saying there's going to be a rematch immediately? I don't think it's going to be immediately because Fabio Wardley's team, Uncle Frank, they want that Usyk fight now, innit? They're hungry for that Usyk fight. Fabio Wardley, he knows he was in there in a war with Joseph Parker. Fabio Wardley knows that he survived a lot of scares in there as well. He's just all for Fabio Wardley, it's just his grit, his determination. He's just got a heart of a lion, man. The guy is just a warrior. That's the only way he survived in there, man. It wasn't about his boxing skills. Yes, he did improve. His jab was much better, but he still made the same mistakes that he's made in the past, yeah? It was just about grit. You know, he just had a little bit more than Joseph Parker when it came to that grit department. Yeah, so I respect Fabio Wardley for that and where he's come from. But he's not going to, right now, I'm talking right now, he's not going to take an immediate rematch against Joseph Parker because he knows Parker will make adjustments and the likelihood is he could lose the rematch. And he ain't going to be confident to beat Joseph Parker in a rematch, in an immediate rematch. So for Wardley, he's going to think, yo, I'm in position now. I'm going to go for the jugular, man. I'm going to wait for Alexander Usyk and take on him. Win, lose or draw. Wardley's going to be thinking, you know, I've come a long way, man, from white collar boxing. Now I'm fighting for all 5 belts. Even if I get smoked, I'm going to make enough money, to save a whole generation of my family. He's going to make crazy money when he fights Alexander Usyk. He's going to be on a Rhea season card. Turk is going to write the checks. Life-changing money for Fabio Wardley. So he's not going to drop that bag, man, to take a rematch with Joseph Parker immediately. But all I'm saying is Joseph Parker should push for the rematch. He should be aggressive as well. But I don't think he's going to be like that because Joseph Parker is a gentleman. He's a humble, he's a cool, friendly guy. That's not the way that Joseph Parker goes about handling business. Neither is Andy Lee. They both don't operate that way. They're just, men of honor, gentlemen. They just play by the book, And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But for me personally, I'll go about it a different way. But that's just me, They don't have to do things the way I do it. But I definitely think that Joseph Parker has a claim for a rematch. He's got a case. He's got a case, man. If he really goes aggressive with it, I think he's got a case. Because right now, Joseph Parker has lost. He's now at the back of the queue. Like I said in my post-fight reaction. He's at the back of the queue, has to wait a long time to get another opportunity. Has to go back now on a rebuild. Has to fight, probably the likes of, I don't know, mostly Tuma, Lawrence Okoli, maybe Daniel Dubois. Maybe they might have to run that again. Daniel Dubois, ducked him the first time. Maybe they could do it now. There will be nothing on the line. Maybe Daniel Dubois won't be worried about Joseph Parker now. But for Joseph Parker, it's a long road back, man, to that title, man. Unless Alexander Usyk was to vacate, couple of the belt. Or he was stripped. Then maybe Joseph Parker can fight for a vacant title. If he's in position, he could fight for a vacant title. That's the only way I see for Joseph Parker. And also, I'm in the opinion that Joseph Parker should separate himself from Uncle Frank. I think Joseph Parker, he's been with Uncle Frank for a while now. He never got a title shot when he with Uncle Frank. Now that he's lost, I don't know why he's still waiting for. Just leave, man. Go join Eddie Hearn. I personally want to see Joseph Parker team up with Eddie Hearn because I think Eddie Hearn is better promoting international fighters. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. But let me know in the comments, my people. What do you think, man? Will Parker get a rematch against Fabio Wardley? For me personally, I think there could be a rematch in a future, but not immediate. I don't think it's gonna be an immediate rematch. I think Parker gets shut out. You know what I mean? Back of the queue. They're going to tell him, line up, go wait, go rebuild yourself. And, I want to see how Parker's going to do it. How is he going to go about it? Is he going to go back to domestic level, back in New Zealand, fight a couple of guys down under, 1 or 2 fights, just to get his confidence back and then come back in the UK, fight a couple of the UK guys. There's definitely fights for Joseph Parker here as well. You got the likes of Hergovic, Adelaide. There's plenty of fights out there for Joseph Parker if, he goes back on that rebuild. But let me know your thoughts in the comments on the chances of Joseph Parker getting a rematch And also, let me know as well, should Joseph Parker leave Uncle Frank? I think it's about time that he does. Whether he will, I don't know. It looks like Joseph Parker himself, he doesn't have no personal beef with Uncle Frank, so he might just remain there. But for me personally, he should leave. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. I'll really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. Please don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe because you're really going to help us to grow. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.